niece and nephew are over. My niece is almost 7, and I asked her to pick 4 books, and those are the 4 books that I'm going to be reading this week. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to document my experiences. And so I wanted to take a quick moment to introduce the 4 books I'm reading. The first is White Chrysanthemum by Lynn Bracht, and this takes place in Korea. It's a dual timeline, 1943 and 2011, and it deals with a woman named Hana, and she's a henyo, which is a female diver, just like Island of Sea Women, and she saves her sister from a Japanese soldier because Korea is occupied by Japan at this point, and Hana is taken by the Japanese to Manchuria, where she works in a military brothel. And so you have that, and then you have in 2011, Emmy, who is Hana's sister, is trying to reconcile with the guilt and everything still many years later of what happened to her sister. So I think it sounds fascinating. I'm really excited to read it. This is a recent acquisition to my library, and I'm very excited. Plus the cover is gorgeous. Next book I have, it was a giveaway that I won on Goodreads. So it's an arc of The Rooftop Party by Meister, and it's about a woman named Dana, and she is a host on kind of like a QVC home shopping network type of thing, and she has an idea to save the company. So she goes to talk to the CEO at this rooftop party, and at this party he gets very handsy with her, and then shortly thereafter he plummets to his death from the roof. And so obviously Dana is a prime suspect, and she's trying to figure out what happened and clear her name. The next book is one I've had on my shelf. The other 2 are ones that I've had on my shelf for a while. So Rooftop Party and White Chrysanthemum are recent editions. The next 2 I've had for quite some time, and that is St. John Paul the Great, His 5 Loves by Jason Evert. I am a Catholic, and so I have a few Catholic books. I don't read a lot. I'm not like a super practicing Catholic, but this first talks about John Paul II and how he became his story, and then talks about his 5 great loves that people have in their heart, according to him, which are young people, human love, the Blessed Sacrament, the Virgin Mary, and the cross. And so I think this sounds really good. I love John Paul II. I've been to Krakow. I have been to the church where he was bishop. I have sat in the place where he would pray most of the time. So I'm excited to finally have an excuse to read this book. And the last book is Changeling by Philippa Gregory. This is the first like a series or a trilogy, I'm not entirely sure, called Order of Darkness, and I'm not really sure what this book's about. It's about, you have these 2 characters, Luca, who is kicked out of his monastery for and accused of being a heretic and heresy, and he is sent to map the fears of Christendom and travel to the very frontier of good and evil. And then you have a lady abbess who is trapped in a nunnery to prevent her from getting an inheritance. And then the nuns start having like weird visions and things like that. And then it says, forced to face the greatest fears of the medieval world, dark magic, werewolves, madness, Luca and Isolde embark on a search for truth, their own destinies, and even love, as they take the unknown ways to the real historical figure who defends the boundaries of Christendom and holds the secrets of the Order of Darkness. So I have no idea what this is going to be about. In terms of a Philippa Gregory book, it's fairly short. I feel like it might be a young adult. The print's a little big. I really don't know. I bought this, I think, at like a used book sale or consignment shop or something, so it was pretty cheap. And I was just like, oh, Philippa Gregory, of course. So we'll see. So these are the 4 books I'm going to be reading this week. I'm going to be documenting my journey, and I'm super excited to read all of these and share with you how I feel about them. So I'm going to start that tomorrow. I have another book I have to finish tomorrow, so I'm going to finish that, and I don't know which one of these I'm going to start. I think I'm going to do St. John Paul the Great, His 5 Loves. I think this is where I'm going to start, and we'll go from there. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. I'm going to hop in the shower and then I'm going to read a little bit. I started the John Paul II book today and I'm really liking it. It's very short. My goal is to finish it tomorrow. And the first section is just like a brief biography of John Paul II. And like, I know about him, but like, I find it fascinating. And they talk a lot about also the atrocities of World War II, which I've studied extensively. Multiple classes, multiple term papers, more books than I can count, just everything. And there's still stuff I'm like, what? This happened? And I find myself horrified. So I'm definitely liking it a lot. I'm definitely liking the narrative and just the story and who he was as a person. And I really am going to try to keep this as secular as possible, but I am reading a religious book because that is what my niece picked. But I am finding it very, very fascinating, very enlightening. And I think that even just the biography part, as if you're a lay person and a non-religious person and just a spiritual person, you could definitely find that interesting and worth reading. I haven't gotten to the second part where he talks about his 5 great loves, which are the 5, I'm guessing from this point, it's like the 5 main foci of like his ministries and what were important to him. And I'm interested to see that more, but I'm definitely enjoying this book. So I'm going to go hop in the shower, then I'm going to read a little bit more so I can finish this book tomorrow and move on to my next book. Hey everyone, so I'm about 100 pages into, as I drop stuff on the floor, St. John Paul the Great, his 5 loves, and it's switched now at about 80 pages, and it switches from talking from like biographical information about John Paul II to talking about his 5 loves. And at first I thought those, because there's not really like a synopsis on the back, I thought it was like his 5 loves that he says are like necessary for like a fulfilled life. But instead, Jason Evert, the author, is going into John Paul II's 5 loves, so like the 5 areas that he really focused on in his life and those relationships. And so the first one was young people, which I thought was really interesting because it talked about how World Youth Day came into being and John Paul II, his engagement with youth. And as a teacher, I loved all of that, and how and Jason Evert kind of just explored how the Pope came to have so many young people who were really interested in him and really drawn to him and everything. So I thought that was very interesting and enlightening. So I'm exhausted. I keep looking down because I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go to bed. But I'm gonna finish this book tomorrow, and then I think my goal is to start Changeling. I think Changeling is going to be the next one I read, which is a Philippa Gregory. It's a YA. I think I'm going to start that one tomorrow. That's the plan. Fingers crossed. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. I didn't do a lot of reading yesterday, Tuesday. I read a little bit of John Paul the Great, and I started Changeling, but my goal had been to finish John Paul the Great and then finish Changeling today. I got like 20 pages into Changeling. I think I'm going to still try to marathon it and finish that today and finish John Paul the Great. So I hope I can, because then I can get back on track and finish all 4 books by next Monday. So we'll see how that goes. I just finished St. John Paul the Great, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked just reading about his interactions with everyday people and his devotion and attempts to get to know the common person. And you really felt like, at least I did, I felt like I walked away from that book understanding who Pope John Paul II was on a much, much deeper level. And I really enjoyed that. The spiritual aspects were wonderful and beautiful as well, but I really liked just learning about how much he cared for other people and things like how much he loved skiing and kayaking and hiking and outdoor activities, which I honestly did not know at all. I have about 150 pages left in Changeling. I'm about 100 pages in, and I think I might be able to get through most, if not all of it today. So that's going to be my next goal. I have about half an hour until I have a meeting. Then I have to run an errand or two, and then I can read some more. But I think I could, if I do like 75 pages now, 75 pages later, I think I can definitely finish it today. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope I can do it. Hello, everybody. So I did not finish Changeling like I planned. I have like 50 pages left, but I definitely know I'll be able to finish it tomorrow. I really liked where it was going, and then I feel like it kind of like shifted gears a little bit. So it's about Luca. It's a young adult book by Philippa Gregory. It's about Luca, who works. It takes place in the 1400s, and Luca works for the church, the Catholic Church, investigating like mysteries surrounding Christendom to figure out if they're real or not, and if they're threats to the Christian faith. And he goes to this abbey where where the nuns are like going mad, and it's kind of weird. And there's this abbess there, Isolde, who is a young woman, and she had inherited this money from her dad upon his passing, and her brother wanted the money and basically forced her into this abbey so he could get the money. And Luca's there, and like everything weird started happening right after she arrived, so everybody thinks it's her fault. And Luca's there trying to figure out if this is like really the work of the devil, or if it's something like not, and like more man-made. And so that was going on for a while, and now it's like more of them like on the road and traveling and stuff like that. And that part's kind of meh. I kind of wish that they had like drawn out and really fleshed out more of what happened in the abbey, but that's just me. I mean, it was for a huge part of the book there, and like I said, there's about 50 pages left, so I'll have to see kind of. I think I'm going to wait to pass judgment on the whole book until I get to the end, which will definitely be tomorrow. And then I think I'm going to start Rooftop Party next, and then round out my books with White Chrysanthemum, because that's the last book that my niece picked. So, yeah, so I'm definitely going to be able to finish Changeling tomorrow. Most likely I'll finish it while I'm at school. So I'll finish it at school, and when I get home, I'll make sure to tell you guys what I thought of it and start Rooftop Party. In the meantime, I am very, very tired. Willow was, since I worked from home today, I had a chance, like I got to sleep in a little bit, but then my fiance brought Willow up to the bedroom, and she was just all over and on everything. And she's good for me for during the day, but then when Daddy gets home, when my fiance gets home, she kind of crooks out and doesn't. She knows she can get away with more with him, so she's been acting up a little bit more in the evening. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. It's about almost 10. Wow, and I do have to go into school tomorrow, but it is almost summer vacation. Very excited about that. So good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Hello, everybody. It is Thursday evening. I finished Changeling today. I liked it. I liked the first part of it a lot more. Then it kind of, so it's dealing with this guy Luca. I think I talked about it already, and he's like working for the Catholic Church, hunting down mysteries and threats to the Catholic Church to determine if they're like a real threat from like the devil and stuff like that, or if it's just like just nothing. And so he first ends up at an abbey where this woman Isolde has been she's forced to be that abbess because her brother has put her there so he can get her fortune and her inheritance. And also the nuns are kind of going crazy, so trying to figure out what's going on with that. And then like later on there's like a second thing that they investigate, and I liked the first one a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought it was well rounded. Maybe it could have been drawn out a bit more. And then the second one, I don't want to give a lot away, just felt very forced, felt super unrealistic to me, and that's where it really lost me. And that was like the last 50 or so pages, so it wasn't like a lot of time was spent invested in it, but I just felt like it was completely unnecessary. So after that, I started Rooftop Party by Ellen Meister, I think is her last name. And I just found out that it's actually the second book. It's a sequel, but it's kind of like you can read it without having read the previous book. I don't even remember what the previous book is called. And they're kind of like mystery books, which is not my thing. I got this as a I won this as a giveaway on Goodreads. And I'm liking it. I definitely am liking it. It's about a woman, Dana. She works at a kind of like a QVC home shopping network, and she goes to pitch this idea to the new CEO at their company's rooftop party, and he hits on her and he makes a move on her, and then shortly thereafter he is thrown from the roof and dies. And Dana had been drugged or something, or she had been drinking and she thinks she had been drugged because she didn't really remember what happened and everything, and so she's like a prime suspect or something, or she's trying to figure it out. So mysteries, not my thing at all, really, but I am enjoying it. I think I'm going to recommend it to my mom because it definitely sounds like something she would enjoy. I'm about 100 pages in. My goal is to finish it Saturday morning because then I still have White Chrysanthemum to read, and I don't remember how many pages it is. Let me grab it super quick. So White Chrysanthemum is about 294 pages, so I definitely think that if I finished Rooftop Party Saturday morning, I could get White Chrysanthemum done by Monday, or on Monday, and so that will be my goal, and that will give me 4 books in a week. Again, my last reading vlog, I think it was something around that 2, 4, or 5 books. But I was saying to my fiance, 3 out of the 4 books that my niece picked for me were books I wasn't really like beating down the door to read. Only White Chrysanthemum was one that I really actually wanted to read. The others were like ones I hadn't really unhauled yet, but I probably should have. And so I'm glad that she picked them because it was forcing me to read books outside my comfort zone. And I definitely enjoyed it. And I think I might have her do something like this for me again in the future. With that being said, I am very tired. It's been a long, very trying week for me. So I am going to go to bed. But I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Hello, everybody. It is Friday afternoon. I just finished up with work. I'm home, got a snack. I have a Willow at my feet doing what? I don't even know what she's doing, but I'm gonna finish up my snack. I am going to do an unboxing vlog, and then I'm going to read about 100 more pages of Rooftop Party. I like it. It's okay. Mystery thing. Words are hard. Mystery books, not really my thing, especially when you have like non-police, non-detectives, non-law enforcement solving. I'm always like, why do you have to get involved? Why can't you like let the police handle it? You know, you're getting in the way, all of that stuff. So that always kind of annoys me, even though I grew up watching what I called the man show and the lady show, which was Diagnosis Murder and Murder, She Wrote, respectively. My mom watched them all the time, and I was like, oh, it's the man show. I was like 3 or 4. So, yeah. But my niece picked it. I'm going to read it. 3 out of the 4 books she picked for me were ones I was about to unhaul, but hadn't pulled yet. So I'm kind of glad she pulled them so that I could read them, because I'm definitely getting outside my comfort zone a little bit. So I'm going to go sit on the floor where I normally film my like wrap-ups and everything, film my unboxing, and then do some reading. Hey guys, so I have like 110 pages left of the rooftop party. And I have to say, I'm liking it. I think I'm definitely liking it. I don't like, there's like a mystery part, but that's very much like on the back burner. It's also focusing on Dana. She works as a host on this like QVC type of show, and then she's an actress, and she has a dad who's just very disapproving, and her boyfriend's a detective, and it's just a lot of her navigating her day-to-day life. And I really like that part of the book a lot more than like the whodunit part. So and the whodunit part really isn't as big of a plot point. Sorry, I can't talk. I'm so tired. So I'm liking that because that's the parts that I like is what the book is really focusing in on. So I'm gonna finish it tomorrow morning, hopefully, and then have a manicure tomorrow. We're looking forward to a nice, calm, relaxing weekend. Maybe take Willow for a walk. It's supposed to be kind of nice tomorrow. She doesn't really like the whole leash thing, so we're trying to practice with that a little bit more. And then I'm gonna start White Chrysanthemum, which is the last book I have to read that my niece picked out for me. In the meantime, I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna sleep in. I think that's what I'm excited about the most, sleeping in. So I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning. It's like 8 o'clock, 8:20-ish. Been up for a little while, but just got out of bed. Willow's been up for a while. She's ready to play. So my goal is to finish the rooftop party this morning. I have like 100 pages left. I have a manicure at 1, so the goal is, as Willow bites my feet, don't do that please, to finish rooftop party before I go get my nails done, then read White Chrysanthemum this afternoon. So that's my plan. I'll check back in with you guys after I've read Rooftop Party. Hey guys, me again. So I'm reading more of Rooftop Party, and I said it last night. My hair's a mess, I'm sorry. I just don't understand people who need to like insert themselves into police investigations, especially because the main character, Dana, her boyfriend, Ari, is the one investigating this case. So then she's doing things and she thinks she's helping, but she's really like making matters worse. And she's like, but I'm helping. And it just is so frustrating because I'm like, no, you're not. You're making it worse. I know it's frustrating because you were there and you could possibly suspect, maybe, but like, it's so frustrating. I'm sorry, I have to go. Willow has something. No, she doesn't. What are you doing, dog? She's wired. So that part frustrates me a lot. I'm like, and here's Willow. Like seriously, just let the investigation run its course. And hi. And this is Willow's, one of her favorite things to do. Mommy and Daddy are jungle gyms. Last night she was sitting on my fiance's chest trying to like dig. She likes to dig now. And he was like, no, this is so not happening. But yes, she's a good girl. Right, so I'm going to read more of Rooftop Party. Be back maybe with some complaints if the character annoys me more. Hey everybody, so I just finished Rooftop Party and it was alright. Like, it wasn't, oh my gosh, amazing. It really didn't seem to be able to decide if it wanted to be a contemporary or a mystery, and it was like, sometimes it was a mystery, sometimes it was a contemporary, and like I've said a million times, it really bothers me when you have like civilians trying to solve these cases, and I'm like, you're just getting in the way, you're just making matters worse. So that really annoyed me as well, especially because she's like, her boyfriend's a detective, and he's the detective investigating this homicide. So I'm like, why aren't you going to him, telling him like, hey, this is what I have, this is my theory, this is what I've found. Said she's like, I'm gonna go do it on my own. And I'm like, oh my god. So that was like really annoying for me, and all of that. And I don't know, I found Dana's dad really horrible. Like, she could do no right in his eyes. And, like, no wonder she didn't like him. And, like, it was just awful. Like, why would you treat your children like that? So yeah, it's the second one in, like, a series. And it's a recent release. I don't think I'll be going back and reading the first one. I mean, there were parts that I liked. I don't know. It wasn't for me, but it wasn't something I won it on Goodreads. So I'm really grateful that I won it, but I think I am going to unhaul it fairly soon. Maybe take it up to the little free library. Take Willow for a walk up there and go swap out some books maybe next week at some point. But so yeah, finished. I have one more book. I'm gonna read White Chrysanthemum, and I definitely know I can finish that one on Monday. So I have the rest of Saturday today, all day Sunday, and Monday to finish it. It's like 300 pages. It's smaller, a little smaller print, but I definitely know I can do it. So I'm gonna go get my nails done, come back. My fiance's then gonna run some errands, and we're just looking forward to a nice, relaxing weekend at home. We haven't had one of those recently, so that is our plan. So when I get back and I've started White Chrysanthemum, I'll hop on and tell you guys what I think. Hello everyone. So I just got back a little while ago actually from getting my nails done. I have a snack I just heated up, some leftover Japanese food from last week, and I'm going to read a little, and then I'm home alone with Willow. When I get some cleaning up done, I have a bunch of books that are just like in piles, and I need to reshelve all of them. So that'll be super fun. Maybe, question mark. Probably not, but it's got to be done. So these are the books I need to put away. That bag is going to a friend of mine. It's books that she wants to borrow. These books, that stack minus the book on top, and that stack were books I read in May. Those are just some random books some I loaned to some friends, some that were loaned to me, and they need to be put away. And then I have Willow's toy basket, which is conveniently empty because her toys are, look, everywhere else. They're literally everywhere. She likes to hoard them in her bed. Here. As you can see, she puts them in her bed to play with. And then I also have books right here. I just did yesterday a book haul video. So these are a bunch of new books that I got, my book of the month choices, some books I'm going to do for a readathon, and probably going to start that Saturday now. So probably on Friday I'll start that one. And just some other books that I got. So I have all of these to put away as well. Hello, everybody. So I'm like halfway through White Chrysanthemum. My goal was to read 100 pages today, and I read 150, and I love it so much. Oh my gosh. I'm definitely thinking it's going to be a 5-star read if it continues with how amazing it is. It deals with sisters. It's a dual timeline book that takes place in Korea during the Japanese occupation during World War II. And the older sister, Hana, is a Hanyo. I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong, and I need to look up how to pronounce it, which is a deep sea diver on the island of Jeonju in Korea. And she saves her sister from being abducted by a Japanese soldier. And Hana is taken to work in a military brothel in Manchuria. And then that's in 1943. And then in 2011, the sister Emmy is like reconciling with the past and the guilt and not knowing what happened to her sister. And it is so good. Oh my gosh. I read Island of Sea Women about like a year and a half ago, I want to say, ish, maybe about 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. No, it was last year. It's definitely on my Bookstagram. It was last like August, and so good. That one's by Lisa C, and it talks more about the Hanyo, more focuses on that and the lifestyle and the massacre at Jeonju and everything, and just goes into so much more detail about that. Well, this is more dealing with the exploitation of the women by the Japanese. So you get two I think that both books complement each other perfectly. They should definitely be read like together. They're by different authors, and they like give you they both like fill in the blanks for like different experiences, horrible experiences that Koreans endured and suffered through during World War II at the hands of the Japanese. And I think that both are beautiful. I am really loving this book so much. I didn't think I would read as much as I did today, but if I'm continuing on this trajectory, I definitely think I can finish this book tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, which means it's grocery shopping day. It is also meal prep day. Fiance and I want to do some wedding stuff, pick our invitations out, which is going to be a production. So I have a very busy day, but I think I can. I mean, I read 100 pages of Rooftop Party and 150 pages of White Chrysanthemum, so I definitely think I can finish this book today. In the meantime, I have a sleepy Willow with me. My bed is covered in dog toys. I have like one of the pillows, those pillows behind me that like have the arms and it comes up behind me. She was like climbing up behind me, and like my back's all scratched up, my legs are all scratched up because I haven't trimmed her claws yet. So, but she finally just kind of conked out, thank God. She was wired. She likes to watch the ceiling fan. So that's been fun. But I think I'm going to take her downstairs to my fiance so I can go to bed. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday from Willow and I. She's right here. She's very hyper. It's like 3:30. I had like all these grand plans to like read all day, especially because my fiance is running errands all afternoon. And so I got up, I've read about 50 pages of White Chrysanthemum, and I was so tired after my fiance left to go run errands that Willow and I took a nice nap on the couch, which is actually very needed. I'm feeling super refreshed now. The only problem is the blanket I was using. Willow had been like chewing on it, so we have this like spray that you can get, and you like spray it on stuff, and it's bitter, and so like dogs won't chew on stuff because then they'll like taste it and it's nasty. So I'd sprayed part of the blanket a while ago, and I'd used it now, and like I guess there's like a little bit left on it, and it's like on my lips, and that stuff tastes gross. And that's the point. It's just now I have to like get some water or something. So I've got 100 pages left in White Chrysanthemum. I'm really, really, really loving it. It's definitely a slower burn, which is not my thing at all. But there's just so many emotions. There's like a lot of, like, there's parts that I'm like, it's graphic and uncomfortable, which it's beautifully written. And it's Lynn Bracht's debut novel, which is just crazy because this is definitely an author I'm going to be keeping an eye out for future books. I don't remember when this book is published. I'll look it up. One moment. So I just looked. White Chrysanthemum came out in 2018, so I'm curious to see if there's any other books by this author, because if there are, I am definitely going to be checking those out. I have 100 pages left, lots of emotions, and hi Willow. And I definitely think I can read it today. I think I'm going to read like 50 pages now, then take a break, play with a dog, and then do 50 more pages. So I will come back to you either when I've done my 50-page sprint or sorry about that, or after I have finished the book entirely. I think I'm going to get some water, maybe pour a glass of wine, play with the dog, and read some more of my book. Hello, everybody. So I did it. I finished White Chrysanthemum. Not only did I read the 4 books my niece picked out for me, but I finished all 4 of them a day early. So I did 4 books in 6 days, which my fiance was like, you did what? But the books were really short. They were between, I think the shortest was like 209 pages, and the longest was 333. So they were really short, and I had told her I didn't want any book over 400 pages, and she definitely delivered on that for me. So I'm going to do my thoughts on White Chrysanthemum, and then I'm going to do my thoughts, just a wrap up overall of all 4 books that I read. Alright, let's start with my thoughts on White Chrysanthemum. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was wonderful, amazing, so many emotions. Oh my gosh, just there were a few times where I found myself getting very emotional, like almost crying. It was just a beautiful, beautiful story. The blurb on the front says, for fans of Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate, and I was like, that's kind of a weird comparison, but like once I started reading, it really made sense, and it was really about finding out about the darkness of family history, finding lost family members, and in the present reconciling with that past. And so that definitely, once you get into the book, it makes a lot of sense. And if you liked Island of Sea Women by Lisa C, I think it was Lisa C, I definitely recommend this book as well. So if you liked either one of those books, I give it a very strong 4.5 stars. It did get a little slow in the middle, but other than that, oh my gosh, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous book. Is the only book by this author out right now. I checked, but I will definitely be keeping an eye out for more books by her in the future. Alright, so a quick rundown of all 4 books that I read. I started with St. John Paul the Great, which was, I think, by Jason Evert, which was about about Pope John Paul II, and it was kind of, at first talked about his life, and then it talked about his 5 great loves, which were 5 areas or things in his life that meant a great deal to him. It talked about his relationship with young people and his attempts to reach out to the youth of the church, and it talked about his relationship with different aspects of Catholicism. And I thought it was, sorry, my nose is like super itchy. I have like bug bites on my feet, so I keep scratching those too because it's great. It's great. I thought the book was beautiful. I thought it was really well written. I thought it provided a lot of really meaningful insight into someone who I admire greatly. I think I gave it like a 3.5 stars because it's very hard for me to rank just regular straight nonfiction. It's not like a memoir or anything like that. So I definitely struggled with rating it, but I think I give it a 3.5 stars. Next, I read Changeling by Philippa Gregory, which is a young adult book. It's the first in a trilogy. And I feel like Philippa Gregory's young adult books, or not her young adult books, her books that are not based on like royals, just like straight original characters the whole way through, tend to be a little stranger. I've read the Whiteacre trilogy. That trilogy is definitely very strange. I reread Whiteacre last month. And Changeling was about this boy named Luca, and he was in the seminary to become a priest, and he was accused of heresy. And so then he is sent out to kind of investigate these different like events and phenomenons and determine if they were like real, like the devil coming to like thwart Christianity, Catholicism, which are synonymous at this time. There is no, in this part of Europe, there is no Protestantism. There is no Protestantism at that point. Orthodoxy is not in that part of Europe. And so then he meets a girl named Isolde, who is the abbess at a not a monastery, an abbey. And she's there because her brother put her there because he wanted to get her a part of the inheritance from when their father died. And they kind of, there's like weird events happening at the abbey, and I thought all that part was good, but then they set out together and they encounter like another phenomenon, and it was just, I was like, that's the one that I don't want to give away, but it was a stretch. It was too much of a stretch. It was so unrealistic. I was like, really you didn't realize that this is what it was. That was too much out there. Then I read Rooftop Party. I can't remember the name, but it's a second book actually. I got an arc of it. I went on Goodreads. It's about a girl named Dana, and she works for like a QVC, HSN, home shopping network type of thing. And she, at the company's rooftop party, she's hit on by the new CEO of the company, and then he is later pushed to his death. And so she's trying to like figure out who did it, but then also trying to navigate just her life in general. And I don't like mysteries that much. I especially don't like mysteries where you have like people trying to insert themselves into investigations, and like Dana's boyfriend Ari is a detective, so I'm like, why are you like knowingly impeding his investigation? And I just found that super, super frustrating. It felt like it was more of like a contemporary with a mystery twist, and it was like more focusing on the contemporary than every once in a while like a part of the mystery would be thrown in, and that just kind of annoyed me. And then finally, I wrapped up with White Chrysanthemum by Mary K. Bracht, which is a dual timeline story about a girl named Hana who she lives with her sister Emmy and their family on Jeju Island in Korea. Hana and her mom are Hainyo. and I really feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong, which are deep sea divers and female deep sea divers, and they are living in Korea during the Japanese occupation during World War II. And Hana is captured. She rescues her sister and is captured by the Japanese and taken to a military brothel in Manchuria. And then the modern timeline is the sister Emmy trying to reconcile herself with what her sister did. And it also got into the Japan's response to the, I know that they don't like to use the word comfort women, so these women who are forced into prostitution and sexual slavery. And there's like a timeline of events at the end, and they talk about in the book the unveiling of the statue. And I looked up the statue. It's a real statue. It is gorgeous, commemorating these women, these girls. Really, most of them were young girls, and they I lost my train of thought. So they in Korea they build this, they create this statue, and they put it on private property right across the street from the Japanese embassy. And Japan's obviously pissed about this, and that was unveiled in 2011 at the 1000th protest. Every Wednesday starting in 1992, they would protest outside the embassy to get them to get Japan to admit what they did. So the 1000th protest, they unveiled this statue. I'm sorry, my nose is like super itchy still. And in 2015, there was like a timeline of events in the back of the book. Japan and Korea came to an understanding, and basically Japan got Korea to remove the statue, even though it was on private property. This is in South Korea, I should mention, in Seoul. And then they basically are like, we're never going to talk about this issue again. The issue of the comfort women, as they called it, is closed. And I was saying this to my fiance, and he just gave me this look. He's like, you've got to be kidding me. And I think that was the most infuriating part. Like, just admitting, like, not admitting that they did something wrong. Just be like, we're not going to talk about it again, and it's all good. And I was just like, But the book was so good. Like I said previously, it dragged a little bit, but so good, so amazing. Definitely need to read it. So, out of the 4 books I read, that was my favorite. The 3 others I'm probably going to unhaul at some point soon, but White Chrysanthemum is 1000% worth reading. I'm so grateful to my niece for picking these 4 books, 3 of which I was about to get rid of, and I just hadn't pulled them from my shelf yet, so I was glad that she forced me to read these books and step outside my comfort zone a little bit. I'll be doing another reading vlog soon. It's going to be a little longer. It's probably going to be like a week and a half. I'm going to be doing a Pride readathon because it is June. And I do read books all the time celebrating LGBTQ plus lifestyles, characters, everything. But I really wanted to focus in on it for a week and just kind of embrace it and focus. And I was really mindful of the books that I picked and that they told a very wide range of stories. So I'll be doing that. I have like 5 books. So I think it's going to have to be over about a week and a half. I don't think I can do it in a week. So I'll be starting that right after school gets out for the year. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this vlog. Make sure to hit the like button, the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit that bell, let me know what you think. And if you made it this far, please comment down below with the, with the bear emoji. So, with that being said, I will see you guys later. Bye.